Want me to turn around 1 minute before I arrive, pay me for 2.5 hours, twice. Background: I did some service work on advertisement displays on gas stations. Working on gas stations is highly regulated. You need to wear protective clothing, signal vest, goggles, security boots, helmet, and secure your workplace. 1,5 m around you. Nobody else is allowed, even when you are working in the customer area where everybody else, including the staff, walks around casually. The certifications needed to do this work are boring as hell, take a whole weekend of my precious time, and must be done once a year. If the oil company finds out you did not follow this protocol, you risk your contract. Our customer explicitly writes in every work order and sign-off sheet that this protocol has to be / was followed. We text sign this. If we do not follow protocol, we are really screwed. Now let's get started. I was having a really bad day. The last call was somewhere remote, but from where I was it would only take an hour to drive. From where I usually start it would be more than 2. The reported error was something that could be solved easily by rebooting a system, and frankly we have never understood why this was an issue that needed an on-site visit from us. But the customer insisted. When this particular error happens, we usually go on site, suit up, tell the manager what we need to do and ask them to step a little to the side. In 9/10 cases the reboot button can be reached with a long screwdriver, so no ladder and no secured work area is needed. Takes less than 5 minutes. Confirming that everything works with the customer takes 10 minutes. This stretches the security protocol just a little bit, but we all, techs working with this customer, agreed that this would be okay, nobody would be endangered, and in this special case everyone would benefit. So, I called dispatch and informed them at 1500 that I would head out to this location. At 1600, I could literally see the sign of the gas station up ahead. My phone rang and I was informed that our customer ordered me to abort, because today they only work until 16:30. I tried to reason that this job would be done in less than 15 minutes and that I already was on site. No. Customer wanted to leave early today. I was furious. So as I arrived the next day I did what every responsible tech would do. I assessed the situation and found that the one button I needed to push was just out of reach, and thus I needed to set up a ladder. This meant I needed to set up a proper workplace. This meant by the safety regulations I needed to close down the registers. I informed the manager, and to my great surprise he did not like this. Dispatch informed our customer of the situation. I was told to wait while they discussed the situation. An hour later, I had a nice chat with the manager and a really good coffee. The customer asked if I could do the work without securing my work zone. Naturally, I informed them that I am a certified technician and that the security regulations are very clear about what has to be done. I also reminded them that it was in their work order and sign-off sheet, that I and the local manager need to sign, that all security measures had been taken. They needed to discuss the matter a little more, so I got another coffee. An hour later I was asked again to just do my work without closing down the registers. I reminded them of security protocol but offered to do as they asked if they would send me this in writing. One coffee later I was cleared to leave the site. This could have been the end of it. But no. As this device still needed a reboot, I got a work order for it 2 days later. And lo and behold, the button was S. Today I learned L, just out of reach. Same game, same outcome. So instead of letting me do my job when I was already on site, they paid me an absurd amount for not doing my job because of a very strict security protocol they insisted on.
Now to the comments. How much out of reach is just out of reach? Nicely done.
OP replied. I cannot pin a number on this, but my finger could definitely not touch the device. I am 1.90 m.
So, we're clear that standing on tippy toes are against safety regulations. Winky. I'm so sorry you only were provided a 88mm screwdriver when clearly a 90mm one was required for non-elevated ops.
The 90mm screwdriver must have got lost amongst all the left-handed screwdrivers. Such a tragedy.
Sorry, I haven't been trained on the 90mm screwdriver, only the 88mm screwdriver. Therefore, we need a man lift, cordon off the area. I'll get my hard and the rest of my PPE while I wait for the police detail to arrive. I hope that leaving early was worth it to them. You gave them exactly what they wanted. Smiley. Good for you, man. If you hold any type of license, never do any illegal shit for anyone ever.
Or just never do any illegal shit for anyone ever, unless you don't mind the risk of consequences.
Legality does not equal morality. Sometimes the right thing and the legal thing aren't the same thing. POST. Training blows. I need to get mine every year, even though I will never set foot on an oil field / gas station in an official capacity. Edit. Petroleum-oriented safety training.
Sorry, but that's forever going to be piece of shit training for me.
For me, everyone. Something businesses never understand is that if you want flexibility, you have to give flexibility. You want me to stay late, you better let me start late. You want to waste my time, your time becomes unimportant to me. Or in the immortal words of everyone, duck around and find out.
Was working a gas station. An employee quit suddenly, throwing the schedule into chaos. Myself and the remaining cashier bent over backwards to accommodate management and cover shifts. Then we needed to switch a shift. I don't remember why. Management said no, we needed to work our assigned shifts. Our schedules had both been subject to constant change up until then, so we both just quit. The schedule is flexible when management needs it, but not when staff needs it. You can duck all the way off with that shit.
I love getting paid for doing nothing. Spend an hour at my clients yesterday because they didn't like the fact that they've been moved to bed care only, so they spent the hour on the phone with the LHIN, Healthcare in Canada, while I saw on Reddit getting paid. Do update us on what happens eventually.
OP replied. This was years ago. If I remember correctly, they finally send one of their own guys 400+ km to push the button.
They made you go through so much trouble for one little button? Perfect malicious compliance story. Beautiful. I'm not clearly picturing your ad maintenance job. I'm thinking signs in store windows and billboards. Maybe ads on the pump display where you pay. What is this reboot button on? The roof?
OP replied. The things there are 2 to 4 displays on the top shelf of the cigarette shelf connected to a PC that lives behind one of the displays. The PC connects to the internet and delivers content to said displays. The error that occurred was that the content was no longer updated but the displays still worked. Usual fix, reboot.
All inside the shop? That is some impressive security measures. I'm just here to say. I'm tired of seeing people having to post English isn't my first language. You speak it better than half the people I know, and none of us speak another language. Be proud of it, that's badass. Also, hell yeah. This was truly malicious compliance, but I have to agree that it was well earned as well. If you want to know about strict by-the-book protocols, just talk to someone who works in a nuclear power plant.
Or on nuclear submarines.
Man, this reminds me of when I was working at a university and got lectured by the safety person because I had left my Sharpie on top of the ladder and I stepped on the bottom rung to grab it off the top. Got lectured for not properly setting up the ladder before using it. Reminds me of the time I went to the site, a regular REMF, that is me, and was not issued the appropriate color-coded safety hard hat. Guess who drew hazard pay for 2 days, without as much as stepping a toe out of the accommodations, until they sorted out the hard hat issue? Couldn't the company have sent someone a little taller instead of sending you a third time?
OP replied. Was the only tech in my area, but they really should have known what would happen if they send me again. Edit. And as I not only team leader in my area but we team leads also talk to each other, I am quite sure every other tech, from my guys, they would have sent would also have assessed the security situation as I did.
Also, didn't you say in another reply that you were 190 centimeters? That's a bit over 6 feet 2.5 inches for those using freedom units. Maybe you can't give details, and maybe it's because I'm in the US, but I can't really understand the situation you were taking care of. I can't picture whatever kind of advertising display you were working on that would be on the ceiling in a gas station, but maybe I haven't been paying attention. Also again, maybe it's because I don't fully get what device you were working on, but I don't know why the manager would care that much if an advertisement stopped working at their store.
OP replied. The ads are just for cigarettes and are displayed on screens behind the counter. They are not essential for the business. But if you want to work anywhere on a gas station, you have to follow the safety rules.